When people think of New Orleans in the 20s, they think of jazz, the bustle of the French Quarter, the city that never slept, bathed in alcohol and promises. But I remember what lurked in its shadows. I remember the night the music stopped, the night we asked an ancient god to open a door for us, and one of us crossed it, never to return. Section 1. The Two-Faced City. There has always been an irresistible attraction to the forbidden, hasn't there? It's a burning curiosity, a desire to peek beyond the veil that separates our world from the other. And perhaps there has never been a place in North America where that veil was thinner than in New Orleans in the 20s. Join me on a journey to the dark side, to a time of brutal contrasts. By day, the city was a carnival. The sound of trumpets spilling into the streets, the aroma of coffee and flowers, the clinking of glasses in speakeasies. But at night, especially when the rain covered the stone streets with a dark, glistening cloak, New Orleans revealed its other face, an ancient face marked by whispers of spirits, legends brought on ships from Africa and the Caribbean, and a magic that, although no longer at its peak from the previous century, refused to die. It was in this melting pot of cultures that a unique form of voodoo was born, something that was neither African, nor French, nor Spanish, but something new, something of New Orleans. And in the heart of this vibrant and dangerous city lived a group of young friends. They were children of the New Age. They read Freud, danced the Charleston, and believed themselves immune to the superstitions of their grandparents. They were curious, arrogant, and above all, bored. Their leader was a young man named Julian, charismatic and reckless, with an insatiable thirst to challenge every limit. For him, the city's ancient legends were not warnings, but a catalogue of emotions to experience. Section 2. The Guardian of the Crossroads. His most recent obsession was an enigmatic and powerful figure, Papa Legba. In the accounts they found in old antique books, Legba was neither a demon nor a saint, but something much more fundamental. He is the beginning and the end of every ceremony, the guardian of the crossroads, the intermediary between our world and that of the spirits, the lower. For you to understand, he is often compared to St. Peter in Catholicism, since he also holds the keys to the gate. No prayer, no ritual can reach the other side without his permission. He must be the first to be invoked to open the door. But the texts also contained warnings. Legba is an impartial force. He does not distinguish good from evil, only respect and protocol. Treating him with arrogance or trying to force a door he keeps closed was a foolishness that came at a very, very high price. And the phrase that echoed in Julian's mind was, "Open the door." For his friends, it was a metaphor. For Julian, it had become a challenge. Section 3. The Ritual Preparation. The idea gripped the group like a fever. Driven by Julian, what started as a theoretical discussion turned into a plan. They felt like explorers on the edge of an unknown continent. There was no fear, only euphoria. They did not know they were about to pay the price for their curiosity. The chosen place was an abandoned interior courtyard behind an iron gate in the French Quarter. The brick walls, covered in ivy, seemed to absorb the sound, creating a bubble of silence in the middle of the city. And in the center, an old wooden door, swollen with humidity and sealed by time. No one knew where it led. It had been closed for decades. It was the perfect stage. They gathered the offerings with a seriousness that was pure facade, following instructions from a book. A bottle of dark rum, a thermos with black and bitter coffee without sugar, and 3 penny coins, polished until they shone. The night they chose was heavy and humid, with the sky threatening a storm that seemed to wait, just like them, for the right moment to break. Section 4. The Invocation. They arrived shortly after midnight. The air was dense, almost unbreathable. With a burnt stick, Julian drew a crude version of the book's symbol on the ground. The Vive of Legba, a cross with walking sticks, a map to guide the spirit. They placed the offerings, the rum, the coffee, the coins. They lit 3 candles. Their flames danced nervously, casting grotesque shadows. For a moment, the silence was total, broken only by the distant murmur of a trombone. Then they began. At first, their voices were a whisper. "Papa Legba, open the door." The phrase, repeated again and again, sounded hollow, absurd. Some exchanged nervous glances. The excitement was fading, replaced by a sense of ridicule and a coldness that had nothing to do with the weather. The wind began to blow. Dry leaves scraped the ground, nothing more. The door remained motionless. Section 5. The door opens. Frustration overtook Julian. Reality was not living up to his fantasy. His face hardened, and arrogance swept away all caution. "It's not working," he hissed. He walked straight toward the door. Ignoring his friend's pleas, he struck the wood with his fist. And then he shouted, not with the respect of an invocation, but with the insolence of an order. "Papa Legba, I demand that you open the door." The first sign that everything was going terribly wrong was the silence. The distant jazz, the wind, everything stopped. The air became heavy, oppressive. The 3 candle flames stretched upward, turned a pale and unnatural blue, and in unison, extinguished. Near total darkness. In that sepulchral stillness, a sound broke the air. A slow, agonizing creak. Old wood and rusty nails giving way. The door, sealed for generations, began to open inward, slowly, without anyone touching it. It swung wide open, revealing not a room, but absolute darkness, a void that swallowed the light. His friends were paralyzed by terror, but Julian was not. On his face there was no fear, but a strange and horrible fascination. Without saying a word, with the calmness of a sleepwalker, he stepped forward and crossed the threshold. The instant he disappeared, the door slammed shut with the force of an explosion. A bang that shook them to their bones. Section 6. The silence and the disappearance. The echo of the slamming door faded, leaving an even more terrifying silence. And then it began to rain. A torrential downpour soaked them in seconds. One of them, trembling, managed to light a lighter. The small flame illuminated a nightmare scene. The door was closed, sealed, as motionless as before. They pushed it, they hit it, they shouted Julian's name until they were voiceless. Nothing. It was like hitting a stone wall. Their friend had vanished. On the ground, the ash drawing was a smear of mud. The offerings, the rum, the coffee, the coins had disappeared. The panic turned into blind terror. They fled that cursed courtyard without looking back, leaving the door closed and the secret it kept. Section 7. The Eternal Consequences. Julian's disappearance was a small local news story, one more mystery in a city that collected them. The police investigated. They found nothing. No struggle, no witnesses, no body. To the world, Julian had simply vanished. But for those who were there, the nightmare was just beginning. Guilt and fear became their shadows. They started hearing 3 dry knocks on their windows in the middle of the night. Sometimes, out of the corner of their eye, they saw a fleeting figure. The silhouette of a hunched old man with a walking stick who disappeared if they tried to focus on him. They felt that something was watching them from every crossroad, from every threshold. A month later, one of them returned to the courtyard. The iron gate was there, the door was still there, silent and ominous. But something had changed. Etched into the wood, as if carved by the rot itself, was a message. 7 words that sealed their fate. The doors that open cannot always be closed. It was never known what became of Julian. His name became another whisper in a city of ghosts, a story told softly on stormy nights. It is a reminder that there are forces that are not a game and thresholds that should not be crossed. Papa Legba, the guardian, opened the door as he was demanded, but he was never asked to close it. And whatever is on the other side does not have to obey our rules. Some say Julian's spirit still waits at that crossroads between worlds, trapped in the darkness he so desired to see, waiting for someone else, somewhere else, to make the same mistake. And you, after hearing this, would you dare to knock on a door without knowing where it leads? If you are fascinated by the mysteries hidden in history, subscribe and activate notifications. And let me know in the comments what other legend of New Orleans or any other dark corner of the world you would like us to explore.